Whispers, oh, you thought Malcolm Jamal Warner's death was the end of the story. Think again. While fans were lighting candles and sobbing over their favorite TV Big Brother behind the scenes. Pure chaos. A secret will. A family torn to shreds. And scandalous whispers threatening to blow the whole legacy apart. Guess who's right in the juicy center of this inheritance mess? Malcolm Jamal Warner. Yes, that Theo Huxtable, your cozy sitcom crush, didn't just sign off with warm memories. Nope. When he died at 54, the headlines focused on grief, but what they didn't tell you, a bomb was ticking inside his private circle. What should have been a smooth wrap-up of his estate turned into a drama more intense than anything he ever acted in. We're talking betrayal, buried truths, and emotional landmines. Insiders say Malcolm dropped a secret will out of nowhere, one that's got people gasping. His so-called final wishes are now ripping apart relatives, friends, and even old castmates. So, who made the cut, and who just got erased like a cancelled show? Stay tuned. Script. Welcome to the drama you didn't see coming. In this exclusive deep dive, we're peeling back the velvet curtain on Malcolm Jamal Warner's secret will, what it really said, why it was buried like treasure, and how it turned his inner circle into a ticking time bomb. The reactions? Ice cold. The confrontations? Straight up explosive. And trust us, you won't believe who's cashing in and who's crying betrayal. Now here's where it starts to burn. Just weeks before Malcolm's sudden exit from this world, those closest to him noticed something was off. The once charismatic star grew distant, reflective, spending more time in solitude than ever before. Out in public? Cool, composed, even dropping those polished motivational posts and showing face at low-key Hollywood mixers. But behind the smile? A storm. Whispers say Malcolm was privately grappling with health issues, dead serious stuff he chose to keep away from nosy headlines. One close source revealed he'd started making eerie comments about getting things in order and leaving peace, not chaos. Well, spoiler alert, chaos definitely RSVP'd. See Malcolm's family tree? Less Brady Bunch, more emotional landmine. Sure, he was tight with his daughter and longtime partner, but the rest? A tangled mess of financial beefs and ancient grudges. And being the ultra-private guy he was, Malcolm kept that family tea locked up tight until now. Behind the scenes, things were already cracking. Siblings and cousins who once cheered him on from the sidelines? Scattered. Some hadn't exchanged a word in years. So when Malcolm died and the estate talk kicked off, buried family tension lit up like gasoline on bone-dry wood. And here's where the plot really twists. The mysterious secret will shows up. At first, the family thought this was gonna be smooth sailing. Malcolm had already filed a basic will years ago, handing most of his wealth to his daughter and partner. But just as probate kicked into motion, BMQ the chaos. A second will, locked away like buried treasure, suddenly surfaced. Allegedly written during Malcolm's final days. And this new doc? Oh, it wasn't just a revision. It was a grenade. Big names mysteriously vanished. New names showed up out of nowhere. Even folks once believed to be pillars of his legacy were wiped clean like they never existed. What pushed Malcolm to flip the script so hard at the end? Was he pressured? Or was he finally protecting the people who truly mattered? Maybe this was the last blow in a long, cold family war. But wait till you hear this. When whispers of that secret will leaked, it wasn't just the family that lost it. The entire Hollywood grapevine went nuclear. At first, folks assumed it was just gossip. Some blamed jealous relatives trying to grab extra millions. But just days later, Malcolm's lawyer confirmed it. He'd been holding onto the document quietly, exactly as Malcolm instructed. Turns out, the will was signed just 3 weeks before Malcolm died, right when he was silently facing serious health issues and preparing for the worst. And the changes? Absolutely wild. First bombshell? His longtime partner, who was originally set to get nearly 60% of everything, slashed down to just 20%. Still in the will, but clearly no longer in the spotlight. And the shocker? A total wild card name takes the lead. Malcolm's estranged half-brother, Darnell Warner, a face so forgotten, most people didn't even know he existed. Malcolm and Darnell hadn't been seen in public since the mid-2000s. Word is, their bond snapped after a shady business deal turned sour, and they'd been estranged ever since. But this new will suddenly hands Darnell a massive slice of the pie, including a $3.2 million Los Angeles property. Malcolm's friends? Straight up stunned. One source swore they hadn't spoken in over 15 years. For Darnell to suddenly rise from the ashes and grab real estate gold? Makes zero sense, unless Malcolm knew something we didn't. Another twist? Malcolm's daughter, his so-called emotional anchor, was handed a carefully curated batch of items. Old journals, his prized vintage guitars, and boxes of family photos. But when it came to cold, hard cash, her slice seemed shockingly light. Attached was a handwritten note. To my daughter, I give you what matters most, my truth, my process, and my lessons. These are more valuable than any dollar ever printed. Sweet, right? But also suspicious. Was he shielding her from future drama, or silently dropping hints about deeper family rifts? And just when you thought it couldn't get wilder, boom. A $500,000 gift. To a mystery woman. Listed only as Ka. No one in the family knew her. No press records. No clues. Who was this Ka? A secret fling? A caregiver? Or someone who held secrets that never saw daylight? Legal experts say the will's airtight on paper, proper witnesses, notarized, the whole deal. But that timing? The secrecy? Red flags everywhere. And yep, it's already heading to court. As news of Malcolm Jamal Warner's bombshell will keeps leaking, the quiet grief surrounding his tragic death has turned venomous. A legal cage match is now erupting inside the very family he tried to protect. At first, it was subtle, just a few relatives asking to review the will. But the second they read what was inside, a storm of betrayal, disbelief, and pure rage exploded behind tightly shut doors. Just days later, Malcolm's own cousin, someone deeply close to him and once trusted to manage parts of his estate, dropped a legal bombshell, a petition to freeze the probate process. The reason? Doubts about Malcolm's mental state and shady manipulation tied to that hidden will. The claim was nuclear. It hinted Malcolm may have been backed into rewriting his final goodbye, maybe by folks circling like vultures with dollar signs in their eyes. And front and center in that chaos? Ka, the mystery woman who scored $500,000 while staying invisible to even Malcolm's closest ride-or-dies. Lawyers swarmed in like sharks. And suddenly, what should have been a calm goodbye turned into an all-out legal war zone, where grief got shoved aside for cold depositions, teary testimonies, and even handwriting experts brought in to decode the truth. The Warner family? Shattered. Now split into two rival squads. Team 1, Malcolm's daughter, his cousin, and two lifelong friends. All saying the last-minute will was a total stranger to the Malcolm they loved. Team 2, his half-brother Darnell, a shady ex-manager, and the estate lawyer who penned the final doc, swearing Malcolm was sharp and knew exactly what he wanted. But in legal filings, Malcolm's cousin clapped back, saying Malcolm was doped up on meds and crushed under emotional pressure when that mystery will was signed. The sudden spotlight on long-lost relatives and complete nobodies raised more questions than answers. His daughter? Radio silent in public. But in court? She broke down when her father's old letters were read aloud, letters that proved just how close they were, and just how confused she felt about being cut out of major calls. And just when emotions hit a boiling point, the courtroom got hit with security footage from Malcolm's gated estate had become ground zero for clues. Surveillance showed late-night visitors during his final days, one being a mystery woman believed to be Ka. She came after dark, stayed for hours, and left with a duffel bag. Nurse? Lover? Blackmailer? That became the case's burning question. Forensics. Audio tapes. Handwriting pros called in by the court to compare Malcolm's signatures. The verdict? No. Clear signs of forgery, nothing they could pin down. But the chaos didn't slow. A jaw-drop moment hit when Malcolm's ex-housekeeper took the stand and revealed she overheard a nasty argument just before his death. Malcolm's voice echoed, "This isn't about money. It's about control." 6 words, everything flipped. The courtroom wasn't just about cash anymore. This was about power, manipulation, and a man's final wishes, either honored or hijacked. Then came the twist no one saw coming. A fireproof safe, hidden inside Malcolm's private study, was finally cracked open. The estate's executor said it had been sealed for over a year, no key, no code, just silence. But with pressure piling up, they had it forced open. Inside? Not stacks of cash. Not jewels. But something way heavier. A pile of old notebooks, faded photos, and what would become the rawest look at Malcolm's tormented final stretch, his personal journals. And these weren't pretty diaries. They were scribbled rants in shaky pen, pages stained with tears and stuffed with taped-in keepsakes. One entry, from 3 months before his death, hit like a punch. I don't know who to trust anymore. Everyone around me either wants something or wants me quiet. Theo was the only part of my life that made sense. Fans were crushed. The role that made Malcolm a household name, Theo Huxtable, had become a curse. A cage. And another heartbreaking passage, written just weeks before he died, bared his soul. I miss my daughter's laughter. I miss my mother's truth. But not the spotlight. That was never real. Not like music. Not like 3 a.m. when my hands shake but my heart stays still. This wasn't the smiling star the world remembered. This was the broken, weary truth. And the real shocker? A third journal, labeled in all caps, Trust. Pages of names, initials, and strange, coded notes next to each one. It looked like a personal scorecard, his final judgment on who deserved loyalty and who didn't. Script, exact same word count, rewritten dramatically. Among the names was his ex-manager, labeled with loyal, until the checks stopped. Ka, the same mystery woman from the bombshell will, marked with, she listened when no one else did, or at least pretended to. His daughter? The only one who sees me as a man, not a memory. An unnamed pastor? He says God forgives, but I'm still not sure I should. These journals were immediately entered into evidence, but their effect stretched far beyond the courtroom. They unveiled a man battling isolation, spiritual burnout, and a soul bruised by trust gone sour. And just like wildfire, leaks and headlines exploded. The moment the journals were authenticated, private pages started flooding the internet. Fans were in disbelief. Media outlets blared headlines like, Malcolm's final truth, trust no one, Cosby's star's silent breakdown, Hollywood failed him. Networks scrambled. TV stations ran back-to-back coverage. Former co-stars lined up for interviews, choking back emotion. Some remembered him with love. Others confessed Malcolm had grown reclusive, withdrawn, and emotionally distant. One producer from The Cosby Show told a podcast, he was deep, almost too deep. He held everything in, especially after the Cosby image shattered. Suddenly, the journal entries painted that quiet spiral in a devastating new light. Was it grief? Betrayal? Or just the weight of surviving stardom, aging, and the collapse of a once untouchable legacy? But the sharpest heartbreak? A letter never sent. Buried deep in the safe, handwritten, dated just 5 days before his death. Addressed to his daughter. Never mailed. It read, if you're reading this, then I never got the chance to explain. I'm sorry for the silence. Sorry for the space. I just needed to keep you out of all this. You were always my clearest light. I hope one day you'll understand why I did what I did. I love you. Always. The words tore through the courtroom and shattered the internet. Suddenly, it wasn't about money. It wasn't even about the will. It was about a father desperate to find peace and protect the only person he ever truly trusted. Now, as the storm begins to settle around Malcolm Jamal Warner's tragic exit, one truth cuts through all the noise. One thing no one can deny anymore. His legacy? Anything but resting in peace. What should have been a sacred time for healing and remembrance has spiraled into a legal circus, complete with secrets, screams, and a chessboard full of shady moves. Malcolm's alleged hidden will didn't just crack the surface, it detonated a minefield of heartbreak and endless questions. Was this really his last true command? Or is it a cleverly disguised fake built to tilt the scales of fortune? Were loved ones intentionally blindsided? And the real kicker, what would Malcolm say if he could see the empire he built being ripped apart piece by piece? As the world mourns a TV icon whose reach went way beyond the screen, the brutal war over his estate exposes the darker, gut-wrenching side of fame. Because sometimes, the worst betrayals? They don't come from strangers, they come with your last name. So now, it's your turn. What's your take on this mess? Is Malcolm's will the real deal? Or just the opening move in a courtroom brawl that'll shake Hollywood's core? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't just scroll past, like, share, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping truths behind the headlines. Smash that bell icon so you never miss the next